The question a lot of people from the southeast of Nigeria will ask you is, why are there so many roadblocks in the southeast?
You know, the terrain. We operate based on the terrain.
If you drive from here, for example, to some other part of the country, particularly if you're going south, you see a lot of checkpoints.
Yeah.
I mean, you see a lot of both police and the army. And a lot of transporters and people in transport complain that they are regularly frisked by those people. They're stopped, monies are collected from them. I mean, you would probably say that the army does less of it than anyone else, but the army is there watching the police doing it.
Well, not watching. We will stand there and watch.
Well, I mean, okay, let me put it this way. You can see them doing it.
Yeah, but you know, the truth...
Yes, welcome back again to my channel, and it's been long I've been waiting for this video. I'm waiting for the Chief of Defense Staff to come out and say things about IPOB. How are you so sure that IPOB are the ones causing insecurities in Southeast? And this video, he had an interview in Arise News, and he said some things that baffled me. And I love the question that they asked him, why is that so many checkpoints in the Southeast? Because you cannot move from here to here without seeing checkpoint. And my anger is that with those checkpoints, there's still more level of insecurity happening in the Southeast, but yet he's still blaming the IPOB, the ESN, and the Biafra that the ones that are causing or instituting insecurity here in Nigeria. So a lot of more questions I would ask to the Chief of Defense Staff, and here was his answers. So I think I'd like guys to hear his answers, and then we'll continue from there.
Is it IPOB that's the problem there, or are there other criminal gangs and even hired political thugs that have taken advantage of the situation? Because IPOB have consistently denied many of the attacks that are credited to them.
Well, they always want to deny it. I mean, basically, but everybody knows, they know it, that they're the ones. It's IPOB and ESN, and again, criminal elements. You know, normally when there's impunity, a lot of acts of criminality, and then criminals take advantage of that. Everybody wants to be part of it, and that's what's happening.
But I mean, insurgent groups tend to want to, admit that they've done, claim responsibility. I mean, it gives them power and makes them more feared. So why would IPOB say they're not the ones who are doing it?
Well, probably because of the nature of the individuals that are involved. There's the one in the northeast, basically most of them are illiterate, not too well learned. The ones in the southeast, so they know the implications of what they are doing, and that's why they want to stay away, because in case they have been arrested, they don't want to be prosecuted. So those are the difference we have. But we know them, and then with the arrest, things are really picking up. And the good thing is that we have a good team. Right from the presidency,
and a lot of transporters and people in transport complain that they are regularly frisked by those people. They're stopped, monies are collected from them. I mean, you would probably say that the army does less of it than anyone else, but the army is there watching the police doing it.
Well, not watching. We will stand there and watch.
Well, I mean, okay, let me put it this way. You can see them doing it.
Yeah, but the truth about it is that we're working very hard to stop. It's a national malaise, like I said. It's a social issue we have in Nigeria. But we are working very, very hard. Members of the armed forces know. We pick you up for as little as 10 naira. Once you do that, you are leaving. We have jailed a number of military guys. We don't condone that at all. And we're working on that. And also the IGP too has also intensified this. He has an independent patrol team that tries to go around to and then the issue of the frisking. If I tell you the number of weapons, drugs, illegal trafficking in human beings that have been stopped because we're checking them. Sometimes when you have situations, you adjust to those situations. And when it gets better, now it is getting better, and we're beginning to bring down most of these issues. We're hopeful that by next year, for us, next year is a defining year.
Like an approachable person.
We are people-centric.
So yeah, well, that's the way it ought to be. And if you are people-centric, the question a lot of people from the southeast of Nigeria will ask you is, why are there so many roadblocks in the southeast?
The terrain. We operate based on the terrain. If the terrain is open, it's less. If the terrain is closed, it's more. Because if you don't do that, you give the ability of the enemy to move around freely.
But there is the same kind of terrain in the southwest. There is the same kind of terrain in the Midwest.
Southwest, what is the threat level? The threat level isn't that much. So that's the issue. You see, the thing is that if we make mistakes, people get killed. and people feel we're not doing our job. So we have to take whatever it is for that we need to do to ensure that we secure the individual. Sometimes it could be difficult, sometimes it could be painful, and it seems as if we're being very hard, but it just depends. I mean, you can see that even at that, we're now beginning to reduce, seeing that, look, things are getting better. We don't want to just like that come and impede on people. No. For us, we don't like it. But sometimes we're forced to do it because that's the only measure we need to do at that time. And once it gets better, we pull out.
How much of these collective challenges weakened the Nigerian army? And are you able to give us a broad sense of the losses that the army has sustained as a result of these multiple conflicts? I mean, I wonder how much the army has been hobbled by them.
The losses mostly on equipment. But the good thing is that
you would have lost quite a lot of men.
Men, yes, but not so much as to degrade our capacity and capabilities.
But how many, roughly? I mean, Nigerians have a right to know.
Yeah, we'll make that available. Now I don't have the figures. I don't want to speculate.
Right.
Yeah, we just at Depot Nigerian Army last week, we just graduated another 5,800 recruits. Right. Nigerian Defense Academy, we commissioned over 800 officers, young men. So we're getting them in. And then we're working. Training for us. Training is critical because we want them to do the right thing. We want them to act professionally, which is very critical because we want to avoid mistakes. These mistakes also cost us a lot, and it affects the morale of the troops, which is critical. If the troops are not happy what's going on, it's going to affect their ability to perform. So
indeed,
it's very critical for us to do. But nothing has affected our morale. We're working very well. All our troops are being paid. Their welfare taken care of. It's not enough. We still will need more, but with what we have, we're still projecting and we'll continue to do. And I'm sure that the president is equally behind us solidly, and that is one good thing that we have.
So strategically speaking, and just to summarize that section of our discussion, you are now unquestionably on top of the security situation. You have control of it, but you haven't completely turfed these various security threats.
Yes, because asymmetric warfare, you are dealing with, for the insurgents, you are dealing with ideology.
Right.
You can't read it on somebody's face. And why it is so difficult is the non-state actors, nothing is written on their faces. You only know them when you see them armed, or when you follow their activities and you're able to track them down. So a lot of technology is required. We don't have that much, but the little we have, we're doing headway. And the good thing is that we're working like a team, like I mentioned. The armed forces, the police, other security agencies, everybody has a responsibility. All our joint task forces have all the components of the security agencies, and everybody is playing his role. So that has really made it a lot easier for us, and that's why we're working. Right. Criminality is something, there is no nation that is crime-free. So it makes it extremely difficult.
There's a difference between an insurgency and just random crime.
How it starts from criminality, robbery, gets to terrorism, gets to insurgency. When you defeat that, it comes down that line and comes back to criminality. So we're now in between criminality, banditry, and the last stages of insurgency.
So you've pushed them back, but not out.
Not out. It's going to be extremely difficult to say totally out.
Right.
Yeah, because it's not. There's never a situation where you have 100% crime-free society. It doesn't happen. Sometimes I think we beat ourselves a lot, making it look as if it is. Probably because we're not used to it. It's a new thing, and it's a new thing all over the world. Remember, the US was in Afghanistan for 20 years. They fought.
But it's not their country, though.
Yes,
it's not their country. Different if you're. But
it gave them a lot of freedom. It gave them a lot of freedom, and with the technology they have. Right. Remember, the budget of the US last year, 2023, was $858 billion. They produce the equipment. We don't. So we're going through challenges. We have the economic issues we're having. And it's not only the military security. So we're trying with the little we have, and then trying to push up.
Okay, so that's the northeast.
Yes.
Push them back, but not out.
Not out.
But to a place where you feel comfortable.
They are now within. Yes, now they are within the Lake Chad area, which is almost like a different country.
Right.
So to that extent, yes.
Okay.
For the northwest, is a social malaise. Why I said so is kidnapping now has become business. You find families, brothers kidnapping sisters. Some individuals are even kidnapping themselves.
And to some extent, that's a police job, isn't it?
Good. Now, the new world order is unlike how it used to be. in the past conventional, so the police had the privilege of handling what's going on within the country. Now, there is no difference. The gaps are blurred, the lines are blurred, so everybody has to be up and doing. And that's why we've always made it clear that the armed forces alone cannot do it, the security forces alone cannot do it. All Nigerians must take ownership of the challenges we're facing. You see something, you report as quickly as possible.
Actually a long video, but I just brought you guys the most important part I want you guys to listen to, because this video I've been waiting for is because I need a reason, or I say an evidence that the IPOB are the real reason behind, or the people behind Biafra insecurities in South East. And here he hit some points which I believe you all have watched it. But I think I'd like guys to just air your views about that video you've watched now in the comment section. Let me get your own point of view about this issue of Biafra and insecurities happening in South East, because to me, I don't believe that Biafra are the ones that are causing insecurities in Nigeria in South East, because we've seen some attacks happen by the Fulani herdsmen, and Fulani herdsmen have nothing to do with Igbo. And there have been some names published about those causing insecurities, and I don't see any Igbo man named them. They are all Fulanis, Yorubas, and then tomorrow they come out and say that the Igbos are the ones causing insecurities in South East, which I don't see the reason why they are saying that. So this video I made you guys to hear what the chief of defense staff had to say. But if you have your own views, you can say in the comment section. Another comment section is there, so you can converse and then digest some things. So I'll see you guys in my next video. If you're new here, you can subscribe. Stay tuned, guys.